Right, we're back. It's a couple of days later. I had to drop onto a call that escalated into all sorts of crap, so I didn't get any further with this. Put the thing on charge and then moved on. I haven't done anything to the bike, I don't think. I think I might have cleaned the crap off the... Yeah, I got the gunk remover and cleaned the crap off. I think we'll chuck the bottom bracket in next, to be honest, then we can get all the drive gear out of the way. I can't actually do anything with the I can connect it up and loosely hang the wires in and put them on and align that with that, but I can't do anything else with that back wheel, and I haven't got even a sacrificial back wheel I can chuck. I should probably have actually in the other one, but the free hub's on its way, so the replacement one of those is on its way. Not sure when it's going to arrive. It's coming from Bike-In, which I don't like ordering from. I just have a feel that they're a bit dodgy. But having said that though, I look back on my purchase history and I've spent some expensive items with them. I think I bought a set of a wheel. I bought a that £300 pair of forks from them as well for that mountain bike. So I've bought parts from before and they've always come, there's something about them, I'm not too sure what it is, whether or not they're selling stuff, stock for other people, and they're just carrying other people's stock list. So I'm never quite sure, but anyway. Hey ho, right, so that you need one of these. So this is the newer, I say newer, it's been around for a while now, probably a good 10 years, but these are the smaller ones. So the big ones used to be that size, and now they're that size. So that's an adapter that you used to get with these. When these first came out, you used to get an adapter with them so you could use your old ones. But it just means it uses a smaller bearing, it's got a smaller footprint, generally lighter. Probably better for road bikes. Is it better being smaller? I don't think so. I think I prefer a bigger bearing on a mountain bike. I generally prefer a bigger bearing on anything, but we are where we are. Right, that's still a bit grubby, that. I might shoot that with a bit of come on head, with a bit of fibromyalgia going again. Right. Found another 11-speed quick link as well. I've got some new ones on order. One went missing, I don't know, it must have dissolved. The amount of times I chuck stuff in that parts washer and they just fucking vanish. So one of the quick links disappeared. No idea what it is. Emptied it out, checked it, can't see it. Checked to see if it got stuck inside one of these somewhere, and as I pulled it out, it was inside it, but no, can't see it anywhere. So I have absolutely no idea where that's gone. It can't have gone inside there. It's not inside, there's nowhere to hide inside there. That's one of the old Ultegras, that one, with the annoying thing that never worked very well on the older Planet X bikes. Certainly my Holsworth, it was a bit of a bugger, that one. Squirrel. We're off down a rabbit hole again. Right. What do you need for this? I need a 5mm socket as well. That's a 5 for that. These are all nice and cleaned up. They're all way pretty. You need one of those, which I'll come to, and you need that. So we shall go and put that in now. Right, so first thing we're going to do, most important, is make sure that that's clean. So it's going to get a bit of isopropyl alcohol. Just be careful with this on your frame if you don't know what's that. All I want to do is just make sure that we've got there's no muck or grit in the threads. I could spend hours with a toothbrush scrubbing this, but that's clean enough. I can see it's all come clean now. You can see there's a load of crap come out there. Don't forget one side's threaded different if this is an English BS thread. If it's not, then it'll be an Italian thread, and they're threaded both the same way. So helpfully, what you'll notice is, if you can focus on that, is there's a right, that means right hand side, which is this side, and it'll also tell you which way to tighten. Now it's the opposite to the pedals, right? So the pedals are on the left hand side, left hand thread, right hand side, right hand thread. Bottom brackets for the BC or BS ones, it's the opposite, right? So it's left hand side, right hand thread, right hand side, left hand thread. So all you've got to do is remember that, but it tells you helpfully on most of them. So finger tight, do not start the first, if you can't get the first couple of turns out finger tight, then you really want to be going back. Now you'll notice I've got some grease on this, right? That's all it needs. I could put copper slip on, but this is one of those things you probably need to be getting the bottom bracket out and cleaning inside there as part of your yearly service anyway, just to make sure it does come tight and untight. Now I've managed to get that all the way in. There is a right and a wrong way to doing these up, right? I'm not going to get into that. I've made sure the plastic thing is in the right place. I don't care if there's some argument that says it goes in the other way around, right? The plastic sleeve's in the right place. I'm doing it with my hands, so if I feel there's too much resistance because it's not locking on to the plastic piece, that's fine. But the plastic piece must be connected to one side. So one of them, it's free sliding, and the other one, it's got a shoulder on it, and the shoulder goes on the right hand side. So you put, I've seen people put the left hand side one in first. I've seen people put the right hand side one in first. Sometimes if I think it's going to be an issue or I know I've had problems, I'll half screw one in, I'll half screw the other, and then I'll bring them together and just feel for it coming together. Plenty of grease on the threads. You do not want these things galvanically welding in, because if it eats the threads coming out, it's good night Vienna basically. Right, does not need to be massively torqued in, right? You can tell that because there's no torque setting on them, right? So if I turn this one, I bet it won't let me do it now. We'll do it with the hands. Right, there's no torque setting on there. Right, there will be a torque setting somewhere for them, right? But there's nothing written on there. So it's snug. So you could almost do it with your hand. If I pull out the other one, right, that's got knurling on it, right? So I could put the adapter in, put that on, and then that's it. It doesn't need to be any more tighter than that. I could nip it up with the thing, but there's no need. It's not going to go anywhere. Right. All the grease is away, not got them out. Right. Just going to take that off there. Right, so I want a bit of grease on here. Right, I haven't got my gloves on either, so I'm going to end up with red grease all over my fingers. And I want some on these threads here. Right, if you bought one of these new, they come with grease all over them. Now this red grease is quite viscous, it's quite hard to squirt out of here. Alright, now what's going to happen when I push that is most of that grease is going to end up there on the other side anyway, so I'm still going to have to grease the other side. But again, put it in with your hands, just feel it. You shouldn't have to resort to the mallet, but you might have to, but try and get it in with that. Alright. Just conscious of my fingers are going to, I know exactly where my fingers are going to go. Right. Right. So you don't have to resort to the mallet. Just be careful when you get to this side, because if it's not quite lined up, you'll end up pushing the sacrificial plastic piece out. Right. And you'll notice it's squirted out. I don't know if you can see that on the other side, but probably not. You can see that there's a whole load of the green grease that was inside. It's come out anyway, so that's fine. Right, so we're going to put this on here. Right. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm going to try and do it arse about face so that you can see what I'm doing. Right, so that's it. Not like the RAF video in the UK where the bloke puts both the cranks at the top. Don't actually think it's physically possible with this one. Right, so you've got the pre-tensioner nut. So what this does is this puts a preload on it so you don't get any lateral movement. Again, this should be finger tight. That's all you need, that knurling on there. Right, snug it up. Right, and that's it. It doesn't want to be cranked even, you know, if you've got a good grip, it doesn't matter. All you want is that there's no movement. Right, now I'm feeling a little bit of movement there, probably because I've splurged the grease out. So what I'll do is it's loosened off now, so I can tighten with my hand again. Right, there is no movement now. That's running smooth, it's not binding. That's brilliant. So it's very similar to how the forks work. Right, there is a Newton meter on here. I think it's 10 to 12 Newton meters. Great, it's the stickers come off. It is 10 to 12. I tend to go 10 because they're not going to come undone, and also 12 is too much. But I'm just going to go and check on another one, so bear with me, because I can't remember whether it's 12 to 14 or 10 to 12 now. It made me think. Yeah, I was right. It was 12 to 14. So I'm going to set this to 12. I'm going to go for the lower range. Just to save my torque wrench, because it's got absolutely shit ratchet on it because it's a Park Tools. Make sure that pin's engaged. There's a safety catch there, and that drops in. So even if this works loose, it stops this crank from coming out. Right, I'm just going to take the snug out of it with my hands, and then we're going to come in with the thing, and you'll be surprised how much torque this needs. Right, we'll do one side, then we'll do the other, so we're not cranking down the whole load in one go. Right. That's it. These threads do have a habit of going, which is why I don't like going to 14, because I have had to helicoil one of these before, and another one it wasn't even helicoil. I ended up having to drill it out and thread it to a bigger size, and one of them, for an emergency, we had to put a longer bolt on and a nut on the other side of it. That's it. Keep checking both sides, because one side clamps up and it frees off the other side, so just check, final check, it's moving nicely, no lateral play in it at all. That is spot on. And if you've got a Campagnolo one from the 80s and 90s and you do that, it'll still be spinning 20 minutes later, because they were loose balls, cup and cone, beautiful. Right, let's bring you around here now. GoPro stop 9, I think it's an 8, could be a 7, I think it's an 8. Yeah, in hindsight I should have bought the 9, the 8 was a bit of a, I think it's, what does it say? It says it on the side somewhere. Oh, I can't see the camera because it's in the media mod. The reason I liked it was because it was the first one that came with the media mod, so I kind of went for the cheapest one that had the media mod. Right, these do not need to be massively tight again, just tight enough so they don't come undone. And even if they do come, it's not the end of the world, they just fall off. But if they're over tight and they seize in, that is the end of the world. Because the only way to fix it is to drill them out and then put another riv nut in, but you will lose the paint that's over the top of them. So it's a bit dramatic, it's not over there. But having said that though, I've not had much success in drilling them out. You tend to find you start drilling them out and the bloody things just start spinning. Just take your time with these again, feel for the thread. The amount of these that I find cross-threaded, and there's absolutely no reason for them to be cross-threaded, only other than there's lots of things at different angles and people aren't paying attention and they've started cranking down on it So always run the screws in and out first. If it's a new bike, take the screws out, run them in and out a couple of times so you know that the threads are good. And then right, I just need to be careful with this because the bottom, I'm just going to make sure that it's not going to clash and hit the, it's not the end of the world, it'll just hold the bottle slightly up, but it just doesn't look good. Looks like the mechanic hasn't thought about it, so use that bit, don't over tighten it. Alright, that's it, they're on, they're good. Lovely jubbly. Do like this. Just makes me, well, thanks to Dean Doherty, the bloke who fixes tools for that one. I just saw that on there and I just went, oh my god, that's stonking that. Right, let's GoPro, stop. Right, so we've got to put this on next. I'm just not happy about how clean we've managed to get that, so I'm just put some isopropyl alcohol in there and see if I can get it a little bit cleaner. The danger with this is it does really just strip the grease out of it. So, but it's a really effective degreaser. It properly takes it out of your skin, but this is quite an old worn one as well, so there's a lot of muck and stuff into and all the nooks and crevices that you're going to struggle to get out of there, to be honest, but it seems to be doing a reasonably good job. Let's just see if we can get that bit under there, because that's the really scabby bit at the bottom of there. It's a little bit better. That's a bit better. Not 100%, but it was fairly scabby. Right, we do need to grease this up, so I am going to get some of the nice simple grease on it. So we'll just squirt get that end off there. So we'll just put a smearing of grease across that spring. It's more to protect the spring and to provide a little bit of lubrication in the spring. I have had one or two of these completely seize, and a lot of it was down to the spring went scabby, so just make sure we got plenty of that in there. Let's get it all back around the side, doesn't matter. Right, and then we want to just put a little bit of oil on the pivot points too. So I could do this on the bike, but we'll do it here. So pivot point there, pivot point there, there's a pivot point there, pivot point there, another one there. Probably done that one. That's it. I think that's all of them. Yeah, I think we've got them all now. Right, coolio. I'll put the screw down somewhere. Where did I put the screw down? Got it. Right. I'm just tempted to put a bit of molly slip on this one. Simply, oh come on, I'll do. Simply because it does seem to get corroded, this bike. So just put a little bit on there, just so it doesn't corrode in the. Now there should be two. Oh, there's only one. There's only one hole because it's Shimano, not SRAM. Right. So we'll snug it up. So this is one of the reasons why I haven't put the water bottles back on. So we need to snug this up. Right, so what we're going to do now is just realign all this. So in the lowest position, it needs to be in line with that, and it's miles off. We also want a clearance of about, I tend to go for 3 to 4 mil over the top of that, but that'll do. That's fine. Again, make sure it's in a straight line. So line it up, tighten that up, and then what we're going to do is just have a little circle with the little circle. Need to get some decent screwdrivers in this toolbox. Right, so one of these is the... Right, it's the one at the back. So this back one needs to bring this so the edge of that is level with the centre of the tooth. This is too low at the moment. This has got the risk of... So I'm just looking down. Right, now I've wound it out, I can see it's slightly askew. Is it? Actually, right, that's bang on. So that there is now covering the top of that. So this is kind of your first fine tune. Right, so it was too low. So that should, there's no way that the chain can stay on there, and you'll knock it down, but it's not going low enough to take the chain beyond that. So it's probably had risk. I don't know why it's set like that. It just obviously wasn't set properly. And then the same when it goes up, what you're looking for is that that is in the center of these. So I can see that the top is too tight as well. So we're just gonna slacken that off a bit so we can get a bit higher. Right. Right. So some of them actually have a line here, but I don't think Shimano do. SRAM do. Or sometimes they have a line on there. I think that's one was. I'm looking okay from there. And again, if you look on the inside, you'll see that it's just past that. So there's no way that chain can stay on there if this has been cranked up all the way up here. So that is about right now. That's a happy bunny. Don't forget, Shimano, it's a direct, whereas on the SRAM mechanical, it kind of pandolinos. So it's not a direct thing, it kind of swings, that moves slightly. So all good. Right, I think that's about as far as we can get with that. What we can do though is we can actually put this in. So, and cable goes in there and round there, I believe. I could be wrong. I have been wrong before with these, because I think it might have been what cable got wrong as well. Now that would be a 4, wouldn't it? A 4mm there, okay. With a ball on it as well, that's a novelty. Ooh, right, we're going to get some copper slip on that. Now, let me just work that in and out a bit, because that's really tight. That's better now. Oh, that's much better. It's not making horrible grinding noises. It'll sound even better now coming out. Right, I think it has to go in there, round and out of here at the bottom. So I don't think this was in properly. I think it has to go like that, but equally I've got to, let's just take that's it. So I think that has to go something like that. And we can tighten this one up because it's going to be somewhere near this. We've got an adjuster on there as well. Oh, you bad one, there's no adjuster on it. It's unusual that. Planet X normally put an adjuster on. Right, okie dokie. So we might have to live with this. Just nip it up anyway. Right. Really, that's supposed to come up there and exit there and go straight up, but it had already been. You can see it had already been wrapped around on the other one, so we might as well give it some beans with that. Right. So what's up? I don't think that's tight enough. That certainly wouldn't. Yeah, there's not enough tension there, and because there's no adjuster on that, we're going to struggle. So I think we're going to have to that was right. I'm tempted, because I think I've got a spare adjuster. I'm tempted to cut the cable and put an adjuster in. But it hasn't got one at the moment, so I'm loath to do it. And I think I'm going to go back to putting this where it's supposed to be. Right. Oh, you swine. What's the gap? I can't see the gap where the cable's supposed to come out of. Oh, I can now. There you go. Right. That's better. Yeah, normally what you'd do is you'd have an adjuster on here, and then that should go up there like that, and then that's generally how that one goes. Right, so that should be a bit better this time. Right, perfect. Yep. So there's a little bit more movement on it if you need it, but half adjustment still up, all the way down, and then last bit. So that's good. We've even got the bottom bit. Could get it a little bit tight if we need to. If I have problems with it, I'll cut the cable. It just means I need to pull this through, and because that's chewed up, we probably won't get it through, to be honest. So, right, get the water bottles on now. Just going to cheat slightly with this. I'm going to get the, was that it, 4 mil. I'm going to use me ones. Right, so I did molly slip these up off camera, so they should go in no problem at all. So we've already covered them in loads and loads of crap. Right. Probably need to stop that video in a minute as well, because if it gets over 10 minutes it starts to throw a wobbly on the GoPro. So we are on the GoPro today. The GoPro, yeah, it's the bit where that's it, that bit there where it's been crimped is a bit fatter. Right, so in there is a, right, yeah, it's pretty mullered, that. You can see it's mullered. So what we'll do is we'll just drop that in. There we go. Manually feed it over it. Shouldn't cause any problems until the cable actually frays, which is what I suspect's happened in the past. The cable's frayed and chewed it up. There we go. So we can put that back in now. This is an entertaining video. Right. So if I move that out of the way, that will become a whole lot easier. Don't you dare pop out of there. And we'll just start all over again. Right, wind it back a bit, there we go. That's it. Job's a good one. We'll not fasten that in yet until we've got the wheel on, but what I will do is I will put an end on it so that we don't screw it up. Oh, you... Oh, flipping legs come off in the bottom of there. Millions of the bloody things. GoPro, stop. Right, so we just need to... Now, it may be that we have to replace these jockey wheels. This one is a bit loose, but don't get fooled by that, because the top one is supposed to have what's called float in it. So it is supposed to move. It's supposed to have some play in it. So just be careful. You think it might be worn out, but then you'll go and buy yourself some new jockey wheels and you realise your new jockey wheels feel exactly the same. because there wasn't anything wrong with it. The bottom one, on the other hand, there's a very little amount of play in it, but there shouldn't be any float. So if you're getting float on the bottom one, but it's not really the bottom one that wears out, it's generally the top one. Look at the teeth. If the teeth look mullered, but the teeth on so the pulley wheels aren't interchangeable. And generally the writing is on that side of it. Sometimes they're written on both sides, but you'll see one of them will say guide pulley, which is that one, and one of them will say, I think it's tension pulley. Yeah, tension pulley. So that's the pulley that puts the tension on the chain, that's the pulley that moves the chain. That's the easiest way to remember them. Same on this side, just make sure you get plenty in there. Right, I will put some molly slip on that because these are a bugger for... So these actually want two sorts of grease on them, just to be confusing. So we want a little bit of grease to stop the galvanic interference, so that's in there. So rather than trying to put it on that, because there's a spring in there, it's easier just to wang a bit in there. Right, and on here, just to stop corrosion, you just want a bit of normal general purpose grease will do it. Doesn't need to be anything fancy because it's just there just to keep the crud and the damp out and everything and make sure it slides nice and easy. So again, that can go in there, just spin it as you're putting it in, it'll hide it. So you see there's a spring on that. So this is where it gets interesting, because what you've got to do now is you've got to press that down and wind it in at the same time. And it's like the hardest thing to do. Try doing it when you're out on site, when somebody's going to flipping wound the derailleur out too far and it's cranked over. There you go. Once it's started, it's fine. All right. Wind it in, as I say always with these, wind them in all the way and then wind them back about a turn. And then if you over tighten, if you get the cable over tight, you can put some back in. Right, so that's, I could probably get another couple out of it. So that's it, we're about halfway back. Clean all the excess grease off that, we don't need that. Right, all's good there. Lovely. Right, just got the pivot points to do now, same as we did before. Some lightweight engineering oil just on the pivot points. So we'll get that one, and we'll do all the top ones first. So that one, and where's the other one gone? That one, that one, that one, and there it is, around here. Right, and then turn it over, same thing on the other side, get that pivot point. Get that pivot point, this is where having the syringe with the long thing on is. I stole that off, is it BCR or something, I can't remember. Another bike one that I watch. I tend not to try watching the bike ones because they just end up irritating me. Right, they're running a lot smoother now. They sound like a bag of spanners. Oh yeah, they're nice. Oh. Right, you can put a bit of copper slip on there, but just a bit of normal grease will do. Now there was a problem with this. Oops, I must have got a bit of stiff grease there. There was a problem with this, so I'm going to try and fix it now. Somebody's bent the B screw adjuster, so I'm going to try and straighten it, but I might have to turn it round. It's a little bit straighter. What I might do is try and wind it in. You can still see that moves, and then just brace it against there to try and straighten it. Now that's pretty bent. Alright, let me get a different set of pliers on that. Just really wary, I'm going to snap it, but worst case scenario I'll just go and get an Allen key out of an Allen bolt one. Try it the other way. So bend it with the spring. I'll go that way. No, not that way. Oh, I think I might have done that. Right. There is a bit of liquid thread lock on there as well, so all I want to is still a little bit bent. Trial and error. As long as I can get it somewhere near. And I want to make sure I can run it through just to check that I've cleaned all the threads up. You can see how bent it is. It's still wangling round it. Now you might say, oh, that's not much of a problem, but if I turn it in, then the bit that's doing the adjustment's going to start spinning round as well, and there's a chance it could come off the adjustment plate, and that would be a bad thing. Yeah, see, this is getting really tight now. This in itself may straighten it. They're quite soft metal. Right, that's in. I think we've made it all the way through. Right, and that end doesn't appear to be... Right, it's spinning a little bit, so if I can just... We can get these on it and just give it a little tweak. Needs to go the other way round, I think. Yeah, let's go that way. And I'll spin it and break it out the other way. Trouble is it's... Right, I can't do any more than that because we're going to start chewing the threads up. And to be honest, mind you, tell me said that there were an 8600 Ultegra derailleur's not going to set you back the earth really. I don't know what somebody did with it because it looks like somebody has been pissing about with all the stops on this because the B stop was miles out on the wheel where it's supposed to be. Right, now this thing's absolutely covered in oil, so we're just going to do a quick wipe down before we do. But all that's going to do is going to give it the oily rag finish, so that's fine, we don't mind that. Anybody that's restored old motorbikes or old cars knows all about the oily rag finish. Alright, so just clear these jockey wheels up. Right, that's it. That's it, looks good. The reason you want to get all the really loose stuff off this is because it will attract the dust and dirt, especially this time of year as it's drying out. And that's the stuff that makes the corrosive paste that eats everything, so get as much of that loose surface oil that's come off. Right, we're all good. Get it all over the hands, because that's what we do. Nice. The 4mm are in. So one thing I did want to do, but I can't do yet, is actually test to see if the derailleur's bent or not, because it's had a couple of knocks, which makes me think it might be bent, but I haven't got a wheel to put in it that I've got an axle on yet, because obviously I'm waiting for the free hub for the other one. Now I could go and get a wheel off my bike, because we've got a spare one. And I think it has actually got a it has got a cassette on it, but the problem is I suspect the cassettes are 32 and 34 because it's the one my wife uses, and she's got a 50 something chainring on there, so I do need to go and have a look at that because I've got to swap hers over, because I'm going to put that chainring on the one I'm selling because it's a 50 something or other. And we'll let that one go, and it's a newer chainring as well, so I'm not that bothered about letting it go, and then she can have the 5036 on hers. Right, let's just nip that back round again. That's it, all good. Once we get it through here, I can Come on, don't be awkward. I'm gonna end up having to. Don't be awkward. I don't want to force it in case I make a mess of the trouble is that tube was a bit bent and I came to I think we're going to end up having to it's better be safe than sorry. It's because I'm reusing the cable. It's obviously a bit fatter on the end than I wanted, so what we'll do is we'll just back this off and we'll feed this over the cable, and then I can drop the little dust the dust scraper and put it on manually, so that goes through there fine. There's a little bit of resistance around about that bit where the come on. Right, after that little disaster, it's really annoying because I saw it was on its side the other day and I picked it up. Yeah, that'll do it. Right, what else have we got left to do? We've just got to put the chain on. I can't do the chain sizing either until we've got that sorted out. So I think that's as far as we can go now until the free hub turns up, unless I go and get another wheel and chuck another wheel on. Anyway, right, GoPro, stop. I decided to bite the bullet. We're going to fetch my wife's wheel. Yep, that's right. Must have known because I got this out. There. Just put that off, and should be clean, so I can just whip this off. Stick Steve's on, so then we know we're tuning it exactly to the right thing. Don't know what free hub that is, to be honest. Where's the fat one gone? There he is. There he is. Where's the fat one on here? There we go. Mine's an Ultigra, lots and lots and lots of solid pieces. Or is it? It might be a 105 actually, this. Oh no, Steve's is a 105, that's why it's all lots of pieces. Threw me then, right. Oops, jumping over there. Right. Doesn't need to be uber tight because we're not riding it anywhere, but equally I want to make sure that it's somewhere near where it's supposed to be. Right. Just move that out of the way. That's not right. There's something not right there. Yep, thought so. You know when you're tightening up and you think that's not right. It wasn't. It wasn't right. So I've done exactly what you shouldn't do, and it's because I've got it at an angle. I'm not looking at it. That was very nearly me stripping the threads on my free hub. Then that's because this isn't in the right place. Right. Shall we try that again? That's better. I know I was hitting the resistance with my hand, way too early. Luckily I had the common sense to stop. Right, that's it. No harm done. I'm sure we've mullered this one 1,000,001 times. Right, so we can just drop this one into Steve's spraying now. Yeah, I can't, it's got to be this one, it says Planet X on it. And Steve's, I believe, won't say Planet X on them. Can't even know where Steve's other one is. That's weird. Right. Is it in his front wheel? No. Yes it is, it's already in. Is it a Planet X one or is it a... It is a Planet X one. So that is probably Steve's skewer. And that, yeah, that makes sense, that's my skewer. Yeah, Steve's is the Planet X one. Right, here we go. So, if we drop this in now, what this means is we can size the chain to this. Just make sure that's off. I won't set the brakes up to this because that's a bit pointless. Right, so we just pull that up and crank it down. And that should be enough. Just make sure it's running. Now, I know these wheels are bang on straight. I've had these are my original wheels. These are fantastic. They've got ceramic bearings in, aero spokes, really, really good wheels. Cannot give them away. Try selling them once for like 50 quid. Nobody wanted them. And it was like, really? They've got ceramic bearings in me. Look how well that's rolling. So we'll just take this off again, or what I'll do, because I can check the hanger against this wheel. We'll just drop this out of the way. I'm just conscious that's probably going to drop off there, but it shouldn't do because that took some pulling to get that where it was. Let's just check. Take that off because that's for checking headsets. And just drop that into there. Come on, so weird. Does not want to, it didn't thread very well on the other one as well. Right, so this needs to be done up right up to the face, make sure that's tight. Make sure my little grubs, what's that? That's weird. Would have thought that would have had something on it. Right, so that means there's no plate, so that's good. Get the little measuring stick out. Make sure I get the one with the smoothest end on so I'm not ragging it around my rims. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to put this, undo that, slide this across. Oh no, I mullered it. I was trying to use it to knock the thing out and I appear to have mullered it. Right, GoPro stop. Right, hopefully I've getting all the burrs out of the way. I've just knurled it up a bit when I've had it trying to. Still not brilliant, but it doesn't really matter as long as I can get it somewhere near there, that's fine. Right, that'll do it. Oh, right, bent hanger. Right, so let's have a look, see what that looks like round this side. So I need the, just get the, need my other elastic band. Where's my other elastic band gone? Right. So what you do is you just set these up so that it's more this one at the back really. So you line it up, nip it off with this and then shove that elastic band so it's hard up against there. Right, and then you can slacken that off, bring it up here, and you can see that's massively out. So we're nowhere near there. So it needs a little bit of persuasion going in. Doesn't need much, just move that out of the way. Right, it's good you've got to remember you're going to add on. So just move that back out of the way, and then right, I've gone a little bit over, but I'm not too bothered about that because we're going to check it back down here again now. Right, so that's over again. So just lock that off, put that back up there, it's locking that off, take it up here. Right, it's a lot closer than it was. Just back that off, bring it all the way around here to here. Right, so we have gone a bit OTT with it. So it just wants a bit of the other way this time. Right, sorry about that, the camera died, I think just as the wheel fell out as well, in case you saw that. My patience level had reached 0 with it. I'm really struggling to get these to behave themselves today. But anyway, we got there in the end. It's roughly right. It's as right as it's ever going to be. I think the hanger's taken quite a mullering, so it's particularly weak in one area, but it seems to be where it needs to be now, and it seems to be holding, so that's not too bad. So we'll just get this back on and wang that into place. Again, don't over tighten it. Chain! What do we do with the chain? Right, we're just going to check the sizing of the chain now. So I'm going to just bring you back a little bit and pick your head up a bit. Right, so there is a direction for Shimano chains, and the side with the writing on needs to face outwards. I have checked the chain. It was one I replaced about this time last year. It's not done that many miles, this bike, since then. It's been on the turbo trainer, so it should be fairly clean miles. Right. Ooh, I didn't like that. I think, oh no, that's okay. It made a clunk like it was dropping the, thing wasn't quite indexed, wasn't quite in the thing. So what we do to size the chain is we go large to large, and what you want is an overlap of 1. So you can see that this chain is way too big. Right. Oh, it's not way too big, it's come off the thing that, so just be careful of that. I've fallen for that a few times now when I've done this. Right, we're looking for an overlap of 1 whole link. So we have got, right, so the overlap from going from pointy to pointy, if it was there to be perfect, we've got half, so I can't make that any smaller. So actually this was sized properly, so I can wind my neck in. And just to make life easier for me, we will drop this onto the little ring now and send that back down with it, and we will put the clip in once I've got it in the derailleur. Now before we start any further and get too excited, let me move the chain out of the way. So I'm going to treat this like we've just set it up, because we've straightened the thing, and this does make a big difference on this. So I'm not sure if you recorded what I've just done. We've just, in case you didn't, we've just checked the sizing of the chain. I'm just moving the chain out of the way. We're looking for one full link, which is an outer and an inner overlap, and I can't get another one, so it's actually 1 overlap and a half. So you do it to 1.5. If it was 2, I'd take a link out, being an outer and an inner, and then that would do it. What I'm looking for now is I'm just looking to check where these are lined up with, just to make sure that that it is where it needs to be, and I think this needs to come out just a tad. So I'm just going to move that, and I think I'm about right there. I'm just going to quickly check the upper limit, and I think the upper limit wants to go a little bit as well, but no, the chain's got in the way, typical. So I'm just going to take a little bit out of that one, because I can always lock it off when I've done, but what I don't want it is to stop it taking it up. I was conscious I've just walked in your way, and that's a 4, so I'm going to drop that in there. And I'm going to put the chain back together. Right. So there is a direction of travel for these as well, so there is an arrow on them. And the arrow is going that way. So let me go and find the little device. And this there. I've racked my brains to try and work out why these need to be in this configuration, because it doesn't seem to make any difference for the inner or the outer, because it's still going to get the same. We're not going to get very far there, are we? Because that needs to be on the little baby cog. Needs to go around there. Make sure you don't go the wrong side of the lump of the retainer. Right, and then that one goes over that one. And we hold our breath and hope we've got it all right, and that it's not making a horrible noise, which it doesn't appear to be. Right, let's go for it. Normally these are covered in oil and I have a right fight with them, but we'll give it a go. Right, that's it. Well, I do little to little because it just makes this bit slightly easier. All I've got to do is just get it somewhere near, and then I can just drop this in, as long as it is hooked on both sides. Now if you haven't got one of these, what you can do is just crank it round and just stamp on it, and it'll do the same thing. So what I'm going to do now is just check that we are in line, because I'll be able to see it more. Right, that looks perfect. It might want to go a little bit more that way. Move it a little bit. So it's this top one. That's it. That looks like it's straight now. So that excessive overhang there, that's actually how it should be. Right. So what we can do now is we can test the pickup. That's fine. Just take the. Right, so this does actually want to go a little bit further. It's not quite far enough. Yeah. So that does want to come up a little bit more. You can see I can move it. And if I move it, it stops that grating. So we'll just drop it back down again. I'll try and take a bit more out of that chain. Make sure we've got everything. Of course it's going to be harder now. Let's do with that arm key. There we go. And wires. And there we go. Right, so I'm just going to bend that up. Let's see if it's any better now. We can do is put these pedals back on too. So again, want a bit of grease on these, just general purpose grease will do. Could put molly slip on, doesn't really matter. Again, it's one of those things you should be taking off fairly regularly. I can't remember if it's a 6 or a 5 on these, it's a 6. No, that's not the 6, that's the 6. Hopefully it's a 6, or if it's not a 6, it's an 8. No, it is a 6 on these. Right. The other one. Yeah, we're done actually. Left hand side, left hand thread, so spin it as if you're doing it up on a normal one. That's the way to remember it. Not trying to overthink it any more than that. Generally again, doesn't need to be massively tight. So, that definitely needs to be a bit tighter. Right. So let's have another go at that one. Right, I'll bring you back when I've done it. Right, cracked it I think. What I did is I adjusted that stop at the bottom so it moved it out. I just tightened that back up, then dropped that back to where it should be. So that gave me a little bit more tension. So just gonna sit. Anything's got too much on it now. Bit annoying. Check if it is in line still. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's working nice. Right, let's do the back one. I have to do them brakes in a minute. So similar thing on here, but it should be a bit easier because we haven't got the same problems with the other one. We haven't got. I'm just going to remind myself of the cable run on this. I think it's in through the top and out through the bottom. So it goes in at the top and then out at the bottom. Not in at the bottom and out at the top, so it should exit at the bottom. So again, make sure it's tight. Just one last check on the. Make sure that is off. So I'm trying to put a bit of pressure on with my hands. Keep it as tight as possible. Just nip it up. We have got an adjuster. That other one would have been so much easier with an adjuster on it. Don't know why there isn't one on this. Right, so yeah, that's not a good start. You can run it on the gears once and just one gear out. Yep, too much slack there. So, back to the pliers. I'd rather not adjust that, I'd rather get this right. When you're one out and you're trying to adjust one out of that, that's a lot of adjustment to do. So, a lot of this is down to the fact that it's already got it's a used cable. But I would normally swap the cables out. I'm just trying to keep the price down because like a new cable's about £7 or £8 for these Shimano cold rolled stainless. Just doing the wrong one. Right, it's nearly there. Okay, that's a little bit off. Same thing now on the big ring. Right. Just going to check the V-screw now. Right, so that's too far. There's probably another reason why it wasn't shifting so sweetly. So we need to get this, so it's about 5 to 10 mil, so it needs to be a lot closer than this. I need to slacken that up as well. Can't remember how the Shimano's work, it's that long since I've done a V-screw on a Shimano. I think I have to slacken it off. Closer. Right, let's see if that's any better. It's gone up. You like that bottom one, does it? Right, that's part of the problem. Try that. Just turn that one back out to where it was and we'll try it again. See, it's shifting a lot crisper now because we've got that V-screw adjustment, so we want that as close as possible. Get that drop, it gets a nice clunk as it drops in. That's it, that's perfect. Back down onto the little ring, put the trim in. So this is with a slack chain. Again, nice positive drop. Perfect. Make sure they've not whistled in. Right, that's the job to do. All we're going to do now is just sort out these brakes because they are slightly out. Right, this is a new set of pads on, so we can wind this one in. A little bit. Again, make sure we've got some adjustment in there. I just want to nip it up, not with that or not. 5, that's the 5. So I'm just going to just make sure that I've got, it's not. So slacken it off before you pinch them together. That's my tip for the day. Alright. But if you make sure you've got a bit of slack on there, you can put it on the rim. And that way you can also check that the brake blocks are lined up, which they're not properly. I know this will change for different wheels, but they were a little bit too close to the tyre. We'll check the other one as well. Actually, no, this is why I don't like brake blocks. They're a little bit too far away now. So you're going to be looking at the bottom biting surface and the top biting surface. And you're just more bothered about is it going to hit the tyre? Because where they were, it was hitting the tyre, and I know that because I could see it. So I'll just check them on. Yep, they're good. I'll just nip that one in, and I'll go and check the other one. Just going to slacken that off a bit because it is a bit too tight. Plus we've got the quick release off. That's okay. That's good. That's positive brake. Check those pads, and I think we're okay actually on this side. This was the side I was more worried about. This is a little bit close to the edge. But the good wide pads though, so probably a bit wider than they should say. I think they are definitely road bike ones, but there we go. Right, all we've got to do now is just centre it, but actually they look pretty centred, huh? Got that right first time. Right, let's stick front wheel on. I think I've already done these, to be honest. Didn't we already do these the other day? They need doing. They're miles off. Same thing again. Slacken them off, pinch them together, make sure we've got a bit of slack to adjust the. These should be okay. I think I put these on, or they were already on. Perfect then. And they're aligned really nicely. There we go. Then we'll spin now. Right. That's it, she's back together. So the only thing we're waiting for now is the free hub to turn up for the other one, but at least we've got a functioning bike, and if Steve needs it, I can lend him that wheel. I'll just chuck a different tyre on it for him. Probably got some of these kicking around. Just have a look at the state of these. These don't look too bad. That's it. Right, job's a good one. Next time you see me, it'll hopefully be with the free hub. So I can clear all this crap away now, and at least I've got a bike that I can move around. Right, back in the room. Well, we've got isopropyl alcohol on there. It's been some time later. No SpongeBob thing for me. It's finally arrived. Ooh, you can't see me. You want to see me? Try that. Much better. Now you can see me. There you go. Right, no rabbit holes. We've got to get this done. I'm in a hurry. This video is getting way too long. So it's finally arrived. Genuine Fulcrum part. Be careful. There's lots of these on Amazon and eBay and generally. They look like this, but they're not. This has got 9 splines, I think, and the other ones have got 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9. Fulcrum have 9. All the others that you will find have got 10, so just be careful. These are pretty much made out of unobtainium. I found one supplier in the UK that sold them for a reasonable price. Fork Cycles had them on. They were a fucking ridiculous price. So in the end, it did end up coming from Roller. It came from Biking, which I don't like using. because I'm not entirely sure how they work, but it appears that a lot of the stuff ends up coming from abroad. Though, having said that, I have bought a very expensive set of forks in the past. Now, I didn't think this was going to come with any seals, but it has come with seals. Woohoo! So that's made me marginally happy. So I haven't got to work out how all this lot goes back together, but it does look like I had it right, where that thing sits inside there on that side, so we can get rid of that. We don't need that bit. In fact, I might bring you closer again now. Why has it lost my preview? Who knows? Who knows? There is no preview. Come on, preview. There we go, it's caught up again now. Right, so I've got to remember I've got to keep my hands forward now, because you're over there, and I keep wanting to put my hands back there, and that's no good because you can't see it. We'll move it up a little bit. How's that? Is that a bit better? Right, so I tried to put these back in the order I think they went in, because I couldn't be asked to look at the video. So we need this bit. God, I hate fine thread. We need that bit, and we'll put them down in the order that they go on. We've got a thread, then we've got that at the back of there. We don't need that because that's included in it, and we don't need these two because these two are included in it. So, and they go on in that order. So what we can do is at some point I will refurbish this, or I will try to refurbish this. I'm not holding much hope for it because it feels pretty graunchy. That feels way better. Yeah, I think the seal might be buggered on that one as well. Can't even see the seal, unless they've altered something. But it is, you can see it's absolutely identical. So hopefully all good. Right, so that should just go in there. And then we need this bit, which is a 12mm thing, which is a bit graunchy. Got a proper 12mm thing for it now, so we'll turn it over. I'm not going to put any liquid thread lock on this because it was a pig to get it out anyway. Actually, given where it is and from what I've seen of these in the past, obviously this forms part of the axle, so there's a lot of torsional load on that, bending load. So I will put some liquid thread lock on it if I can find it. There we go. I did clean this as well, so trouble is I think my liquid thread, oh fucking hell, the bit about what I said I think the liquid thread lock's going off, obviously it's not because it's just pissed out of there, so I'm going to have to go and wipe that up now because we don't need that much liquid thread lock. I'm going to fucking get the thing off again. The trouble is it just set as well. I've got it on my hands as well. I hate this stuff with a passion. Right. So I'm just going to clean all that crap off there now that I've just put all over it. That's why the isopropyl alcohol was there, because I was cleaning this off because I decided I was going to put liquid thread lock on it, and then I decided I wasn't, but then I've decided I am again now. Right, shall we have another go at this? There. That should do it. I suspect it has, it's gone. I think it's separated out a bit actually. Let me, that's better. I think it had separated out. Right, we've got way lots on now. Unfortunately it's quite tight in there. It is a standard left-hand thread, right-hand thread, standard thread. Right, I have no idea of the torque setting for this unless it's in here. Attenzione! Oh, we've got an exploded diagram thing here. Right. That goes into there. Important note. Warning, the metallic spacer indicator figure 1 is installed directly on the freewheel body, therefore should not to refit the original spacer on the wheel. Therefore, right there. Cool. Right, so we don't need to do anything with that. Anything on here about torque? Nope. Fulcrum spare parts must only be used by persons with specialised knowledge. Now, is that specialised the bike, or specialised is in specialised knowledge? But it's not going on specialised, so I don't need specialised knowledge. Right, I'm going to go for $50. $50 Newton seems good and tight. Not quite as tight as some of them. The other thing I want to do as well is I want to have a look at the derailleur hanger on there. I think it's a little bit far away, so we're going to have a look at that. Right, so one side's done. What we've got to do now is press a bearing into there without dropping it in like an absolute divot. Right, so we've got to press that bearing into, hold on a second, that bearing doesn't fit, that can't be right. Oh, bugger. Well, that's an absolute shitbag. I chucked the other one out as well. Madly, if there wasn't much left of it, I'd mangled it. The remains of it are probably still in there. Right, so we need something that's got that inner diameter, but a larger outer diameter. It's not that one, that's for certain. I think that's what we've got, the 600, isn't it? Is that what we've already? Yeah, it's not that one. Right, I've got a funny feeling we're going to be ordering more bearings. Oh, hold on, what's this? No. Well, actually, you say that. I think that's probably where that comes from. Right, that's a free hub bearing. It probably would have helped if I'd have not put them all back. Right, that's bottom bracket, it's definitely not that. Definitely not that. Now one of these I thought said something vision. No, that's what we've got already. No. 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 Oh, hold on, what's this? Aha. 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 We've dropped on lucky. Right, thought so. Right. So that's a different bottom bracket. That is a it's not bottom bracket. That is a different bearing. Is that a 6? It's a 6001. Right. So there we go. I can put that one back in the. No, not that one. Visions. That one. So we're running low on them, so they take one of those and one of those. So there you go, every day's a school day. I perhaps should have realised that. Yeah, and then that makes sense because that goes in there then, because it's slightly bigger than the other one. Yes. So there you go. Come on, focus. Put all them back in there. Where's my lid? Yeah, I should have spotted that, but I was, yeah, just assumed they were the same. A lot of them they are the same, but then also a lot of them they aren't. Right, 601, 691, 690, must be on here, must be on here. Right. So we want a 683, 685, 6803. Well, that's a Gimpessa, isn't it? Can't believe we haven't got one. Oh, I've got a 6 out. Ah, there we go, found it. Looking in the wrong place. Right, so that's the one that's going to go through there and push that in. What I need to do now is find something that can sit on the outside of that, because I don't want to press it onto that bearing. So let's just have a quick look at that and just make sure that, so that's touching that bearing. I don't want it to do that. The other option is to get one of these. No, that's going to mangle the threads. Oh, it's quite tight. I think we'll just do it with that. Right. Spin it over. Actually going in quite smooth. That's it. We're bottomed out. Feels okay. So this one comes through from this side and should just butt onto there, and then this one, that's it, we're in. And this one just has a thing on there, and that goes through the middle of it, in theory. Actually, I'll tell you what I will do. I will put some grease in there. So let me just put some normal grease in there, nothing fancy. Some normal stuff, just to act as a barrier. It's not there to lubricate it or anything. It's there that if any shit does get through, kind of acts as a barrier. There you go. That's what we wanted. So we sit here for millions of hours while I wind this in. Hopefully we don't get any problems feeding it through the middle of the bearing, and it's a nice snug fit, not a, we don't have to drive it in. There we go, that's nice. Now you've got to remember with this, this is the type that doesn't have anything supporting the inner shaft, the inner races. So if you imagine the ball races, that's the outer part of the race, this is the inner part of the race, and the balls are in there. If you drive the axle in against this face, it's going to go that way and it's going to damage the balls. And normally on these you'd have some kind of other machined face on the axle, that the centre part of the bearing, I haven't got a bearing to show you, oh I have, here. Right, so that's held in the thing. That bit in the middle, if I tighten that up, it's just going to drive that in and it's going to damage the ball race because there's nothing on the inside to support it. So when I put these on, I've got to make sure that I've got some float, right? So if I undo it, that goes in and out, right? If I take that too tight, you can feel it's no good. So when I put these in, I've got to make sure that when that cranks down on it, it doesn't pinch it too much, and there's a little bit of side float on it. Because when I crank that down and nip it into place, it's going to squash it down. So it's a bit like doing the cup and cones on a normal bike. There's going to be a bit of trial and error here. So I can't remember what it was. I think it was actually we can probably use normal spanners on here. I think these are the two I used. No, smaller than that. So let's get a normal spanner out. Is it a 13? It's a 12. No, it was a 13. It was a 13. Yes. Right. So all we've got to do now is just make sure that that's not too tight, but there isn't any. That's it. And make sure that it's done up properly. Again, just check it. So we've got a minimal amount of end float. Feels a little bit grabby. I'm tempted to knock that off a bit. 15, 16, 17. I'll do it with these, it's easier. Right. So I just want to snidge that out a little bit. Normally I'd be in the workshop doing this in the vise, but what I'm looking for is I'm looking to see what that's doing when I tighten it up as to whether that centre's moving. Very little bit of end float there, so that's good. Little bit of end float's okay. Right, I think we're good. Good. Right, all we've got to do now is just put the plastic cap on. Where's the plastic cap gone? There we go. Hopefully it fits over the top of that. It does. Right, I think that's it. Job's a good one. Right, all we need to do now is stick the cassette on from that one. So let me get the bike up on the lift. Right, bike's back up on the lift. You're still staring at the wheel. That's what you need to be looking at. Right, let's get this back wheel off. The toolbox out of the way. I'll have a trip over it. Yeah. Right, back again. Let us get this off. That's mine. No, that's Steve's. There's Steve's. I need his cassette. Favourite ball. That can go back in the drawer before we chuck it all over the floor. They can go back in the... Let's be tidy. Right. Gotcha. Right, need you. There's the big one. There we go. Don't need the torque wrench to take it off. barely done up anyway. I could probably done it with my fingers, to be honest. Right, let's get these two off. The slippery doodah. And it's weird because it goes on that way round. It doesn't look like it would, but it does. Ugh. Actually, while we're here, let's put mine back on. And where's the big fat boy? There. That's that one, and that's mine, because that's definitely an Autogrill one, and it's clean. That's it. The required number of turns. So back down to 45. Or is it 40? I can never remember. It was 40, not 45. I don't know where I got 45 from. How many years have I been doing this? It's always been 40. You come to daddy. That's it. Remember, when you use your device, don't rely on your ratchet because you'll end up knackering your paws. That's it. All torqued up nicely. Now I don't know where, that's mine. Yeah, these are Planet X wheels, but I haven't got Planet X skewers in them for some weird reason. And that'll not go on. I think I stole the Planet X skewers for the Planet X carbon wheels I sold because they came with some goddamn awful fucking AliExpress ones. Right, don't need that. That can go back in there. We're tidying up as we go. Look at this. That's the big one. That's that one. That's that one right there. All done. Should have a little spanner around here somewhere. It's weird. What have I done with that? I've thrown it in here. Maybe I put it back in the box. Who knows? Right. Next. Fat boy. There you are. And didn't exactly go to plan, did it? The one as nicely as the other one. Right, fat. So I keep saying fat. I ought to explain myself. They're indexed, so it's impossible to put them on upside down, and one of them is fatter than the other. So you aim for that and get it on. If you try and flip it over and put it on, it's impossible to put it on. So that's just so you know, when I'm sat there going fat, I'm not giving personal commentary on my own weight issues. Fat lad. Just saying. Step away from that cheese. Favourite tool. That's it. Oh, that sounds like the Mutt's nuts, doesn't it? Smoothie. Right. Yeah, I know, I'm not bothering to grease it because it's already full of grease. And I'm leaning over. Come on, get a grip. Well done that, because what am I doing? Oh, I've got that rake stuck now. For some reason I didn't get the chain over the top. Oh, that's better. Come on. Open up. You came out, so you must go in. Why is it not fitting? Rubber Kazima ties were as flat as a fart. And these whims are going to be rider as well, aren't they? So, right. Yes, because I set the brakes up to the other rims, and I bet the other rims are narrower. I'll put money on the other rims are narrower, so I'll just kick this off and I'll tighten it back up again in a bit. There we go. Make sure that's set up where it needs to be. We will bring it back down and check it in a minute on the floor. I will do that now. Yeah, that's a good job we did that because it did move. There we go. Hee-yah! How does it not go in there? It came out of there. Right. Just check all the gears are all indexed nicely. It would appear that that's not in the same place. Right. Try that. It would appear that I need to adjust it. Because that's slack now. And right, just doing some minor trimming. Yeah, one thing we'll have to do, we'll definitely have to put more on that one. So. It's good. this one down. Right, yeah, that's too much of a gap. What we'll do first though is we do desperately need to put this back on. So we'll just run that out a bit, shove that in a bit. Readjust the wheel. Just centering that back up again, putting a bit more play back into it. Right, slightly out of track. I'm not going to chuck in the rim, it is only in one spot. So that one and that one, I believe, are the two we need. Yep. 3.3 is usually the one, that's it. Right. Don't forget. I've actually got a spoke grabber now, just for such occasions. I don't know if you can see this. All I'm doing is just putting a little bit of a turn on, but I've got a spoke grabber now, so I can make sure that it is actually tightening the spoke up and not just spinning it around. I'm just putting torsion into the spoke itself. Well, these are a bit mingy. Right, if that's done it. A little bit. Right. So we need that one and that one. We need to slacken off these two. Slackening off is okay. Slacken, slacken, slacken. These wheels are fairly crusty. I think the previous owner did use this as his winter bike. A bit more tension on these now. And that one. You probably can't see any of this. And that one was a bit loose actually. If that's any better. That's a lot better. Still a little bit of movement, but only about a mil across. Okay. What I might do is I might take a bit more out of that. Just got a little bit too much in it still. Right, so just tighten that on. That's better. Not pretty much centred. Right, that's good. Just got this to sort out now. This is in the wrong place, and of course we've got the bottle holder in there now, just to make life interesting. Right. So I want it to drop down a bit. It's a little bit too close, and that explains why we were getting a bit of change there. I think it's about 2 mil you want from memory, but equally I've still got to make sure that we keep that in line as well. That's it. That's it. Now I've got to get the fucking thing back out again. That's it. In bottle holders. Right. So now we're going to have lost all our tension on that. So we've got to put the tension back in on that. And that's the purple one. You can't see any of this. To be honest, at this point I don't care. Right. That's interesting, that's dropped all the way down. Well, that's in the wrong place for starters, so we need to jack that back out again. Right. It's not that one, it's got to be the one at the back. So it's nowhere near where it should be. It should be about there. And what we generally do is do it slightly over and then I can drop it back down again. So I'll probably find out it was in exactly the same place, I've just not got a stop set right for where it's ended up. Right. Right, we've got good tension on that. Just drop it back down. And that's it. Let's see if it works. That's perfect. Alright, let's see what it sounds like. That's better now, that's not catching. Right, so the only other thing I've got to do now is see what it sounds like when we're on the bottom, because that's when it was catching on there, on that one. Miles away now, and that's good. That shows how far out it was. And then if we go all the way up, it's okay. Coolio. That's it. That is a good one. Yeah. Could do with being a little bit tighter. Still not happy with that. better. Yeah, that's a lot better now. Cool. Job is a good one. Right, let's stick it back up on the big ring for transport. I think that's done. What's up, Nicky? So it's been a bit of a labour, this one. It might don't get it getting split into two halves. So just a quick recap of what we've done. Front wheel, nothing wrong with there. Headset bearings all the way out, re-greased, completely stripped the bike down. Cleaned and lubricated those. Sorted out what was going on off up there. Tightened down those. Re-torqued that. Torqued that, cleaned it all out, re-put some new assembly paste on, new bottom bracket, greased it all up. That lot's been in the parts washer, that's been in the ultrasonic as well. Re-greased all the pivots up, reset the stops on that because they were all wrong. Straightened out the rear derailleur hanger because that was out of spec. Cleaned all this lot up, re-greased it, made it look all nice and shiny and new again. Re-indexed it. Ultrasonic the cassette as well, put all that lot back together again. New bearings in the axle, new free hub which comes with a bearing in there. Back brakes come off, that's been in the ultrasonic, cleaned up. The pedals is about the only thing we haven't done apart from rub some grease off them. Chain was okay, but that went in the ultrasonic and got a good cleaning as well, and we have straightened out the wheels. So actually, all in all, this bike has had a fair bit done to it. To say it was just coming in for a grumbling bottom bracket, and then it turns out the free hub was gone. But we knew the free hub was gone. There's the offending article. What we will do is I will strip that down, chuck the whole lot in the parts, ultrasonic again, and we'll put that back together and see if we can resurrect it as a spare for next time. And then if Steve gets this bike serviced regularly, I will make a point of taking that free hub off and cleaning it out, because these free hubs, if they're that rare, we can't afford for that one to go bad as well. And hopefully we can salvage that one with some new balls. They will take standard balls. Fingers crossed. Everything's been lubed up and molly slipped where I think there's a possibility of corroded bolts. I think that's about, oh yeah, we had to reset the front derailleur because I should have spotted that it was miles out. So it's about 2 mil now. I think it's 1 or 2 mil clearance. Basically you want it close so that doesn't catch that tooth, and then you'll not be a million miles away. Not entirely sure why I had to re-index everything when I swapped the wheels over, because these are modern wheels. I shouldn't have to do that, so slightly confused at that one, but I'll live with that. It said something about the spacer, but the spacers are all right, and it fits in the axle perfect, so there's nothing wrong there. But for just some reason, this wheel has got a slightly different specification for that wheel. Now, I know that wheel's good because I've swapped them wheels out before with other wheels, and I've never had to re-index it, so I don't know why I've had to do that. So that's a bit of an interesting one, but I can live with that. Yeah, everything sounds good. That's spinning lovely now. I think it might take a while to bed in. If you get really fast, you can start to hear the bearings, but they don't sound grumbly. They're not as quiet as I would like, but I don't know what sort of bearings they've put on in there. So we'll just have to live with that. Might be a bent axle, because I'm seeing a bit of wobbling going on there. And you normally only see that when you've got a bent axle, but I'm not going to get into that because it is only marginally bent. But anyway, that's it. Job's a good one. Oh yeah, and the B-stop. The B-stop was miles out, so we had to reset the B-stop on it. So that's a lot better now. I'm not entirely convinced that we couldn't make do with a smaller chain, but what I might do with him is, if I've got some spare gears, because that's a 28, I might stick him a 30 on there, and then that'll take up the play anyway. It'll take a 30 as it is, so that's something we can do. And weirdly, I've just taken the 30 off, but it's an Ultegra, so I'm not giving away an Ultegra one. I don't mind giving away a 105, but I'm not giving away an Ultegra unless he wants to buy it. Right, that's it. Waffle. Oh, squirrel. Oh, chicken. Lovely out there. Right, let's get this wrapped up. It's been way too long. I need to get this lot cleaned down. This bike's been hanging around here for now 2, 3, since we come back from Bamborough. So 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. So that's quite a long time for me, a bike nowadays. You know, back when we started this lot off in lockdown, which is why we're called Lockdown Workshop, I would end up with bikes 3 to 4 weeks because you just could not get parts, which is why I started building the parts drawer. So there's spare bottom brackets in there, there's a spare derailleur in there, there's a Giant, something off the Giants, there's a spare stuff for turbo trainers, I've got a whole load of spare chains, spare spokes, chains there, bits and bobs there, loads of inner tubes, loads more inner tubes. I need to find somebody who'll take those. Actually, that's one of mine off the mount. That's one of my spare winter tyres, that one. Things, batteries for people's thingies, another spare derailleur there, spare jockey wheels, more spare inner tubes over there. There's also, there's a full set of rim brakes and Shimano, the Ice Tech disc brakes there, but I'm not running those anymore, so that was a bit of a pain up the arse. But I had them at one point on all of my bikes, including the mountain bike. I've only got them on the turbo trainer, and that's not exactly going anywhere now. Anyway, waffle, let's get this lot cleared up. I'm done. We can put this one to bed, and it'll probably be 2 parts. So there we go, one last final look at her. And where's my thumb gone? Job's a good one.